Alright, so CPI, finally, the biggest mover. Well, not even the biggest mover this time, but the biggest news event for this week has finally panned out. I'm saying not the biggest mover because, as we can see on the screen, this is basically what the S&P 500 has done today, even post CPI. Notice how here we initially manipulated before displacing downwards, but because we were overall bullish based on a higher time frame and of course sentiment that I've already covered in the past few videos, we returned all the way back up, but ES was not able to sweep CPI's high, and it was not able to sweep the previous day's high over there. And when you look at E-mini S&P 5, when you look at NASDAQ, actually, yeah, when you look at NASDAQ, you notice that we were successful at sweeping the high there of CPI, and we were successful at sweeping the high from yesterday. But my target for the week, at least, when we look at, say, for example, the 4-hour chart, we can see that we did not take these lows as I thought we might. I did mention that I was very comfortable with us taking the low, these relative equal lows, then look for a possible reversal from somewhere here, maybe after completing this market maker sell model. Then we might turn around after CPI, but we didn't do any of that. We left these lows intact and we displaced above the opening price. We even came back to retest a new week opening gap. I guess I can call it a new week, it's an old week opening gap at this point. It's 3 weeks ago we had a new week opening gap there. I still had it on my chart, I didn't delete it, and it just so happened to be, I guess you could call it by chance. It's not really chance in my opinion, but by chance we came back to retest this specific portion, which is the new week opening gap inside of this inefficiency, for us to finally start pushing higher. So when we bounced off of here and closed above here, this made me very confident that September's highs would be the next draw on liquidity, because now we displaced above here with a fair value gap that actually broke this swing high right here. So we have this fair value gap that broke this swing high. So now I am looking to see if we could take September's high before the end of this week. That's my draw on liquidity now. Now that we've gotten something clearer, I would not like to see this low that we just made now today during CPI to be taken without this high getting taken. In other words, this would be my invalidation point for specifically this high, not for the whole move, because we still have the all-time high. When we zoom out even more to the daily time frame, for example, we can see that we still are bullish and we have so many we have a lot of room to get to the all-time high, the main target. For those that don't remember, we are still looking at the weekly perspective. On the weekly chart, we can see the move was actually this internal to external range move, liquidity, right? So we came from this inefficiency and we are expecting to trade to the buy side liquidity, and the buy side liquidity is basically September high. So that's why I'm aiming for September high. The second thing that I'd like to see this week, even though we might not get it, but we have PPI tomorrow, so we never know. I would like to see a closure above this inefficiency, because if we can close above it, that indicates to us that we are really bullish and we could use that as a new area of support to continue to the all-time high next week and the week after. So going back down to the daily time frame, we can see the end dog, the end walk that was respected. We respected this other block. Another thing that we got today was actually an immediate rebalance. It's not clear now, of course, because of this purple area, but the fact that we failed to create an inefficiency and rejected away from it aggressively, this rejection is what I'm more interested in. That's why I'm curious to know how this daily candle will close. Of course, we still have 40 minutes for the daily candle to close, but it would be nice if we could close above this high, even if we don't take September high. but it would be nice to see a close above this high, or at least a close above the body. You know, a close above the body high there would be nice to see, because this immediate rebalance to me would then become valid. And when we get an immediate rebalance, we expect a quick push to the upside, or of course if it's the bearish direction, it will be to the downside. So yeah, so far I like the price action we're getting. I do not like the retracement that we are having in this PM session in the last 4-hour candle for the day. I don't like this deeper push down, but I am not shaken by it. I'm still going to observe price from a higher time frame, because when we go down to a lower time frame, as you saw, it looks very messy. This is today's price action, basically. Doesn't look directional. Okay, we displaced down. Was it bearish? Nope. Was it a liquidity sweep and now we're pushing up? Why are we retracing this much if that's the case? You know, so many questions. But I'm not shaken by that, because we should notice that we also now have an SMT at the lows with ES. ES during the PM session actually somehow ran the sell side liquidity and took the AM session's low. So right there, we took the low. When you look at NASDAQ obviously did not do that. So that's why I say that's the second reason I'm not really shaken by this move down. I still want to see the 4-hour use this bullish imbalance to continue higher. Again, very curious to know how the daily candle will close, but I'd like solid closures above, you know, opening prices and closing prices. So yeah, but this would also be a nice target for tomorrow. It would be nice also, yes, it would be nice to close above all these candles and stuff, but it would also be nice that this high be left open the way it is, so that we have a target or a draw on liquidity for tomorrow. That's all I'm trying to say. Oh, by the way, the immediate rebalance should be clearer from here. It's not perfect, but almost 100% fill of the 4-hour gap. Okay, I just deleted the wrong thing. So yeah, that's my view on the indices. I'm bullish on NASDAQ and ES. Russell, on the other hand, is not feeling the best right now. It's been very sluggish, very weak. Still playing around the weekly imbalance. I'm not going to touch it for now. I set an alert there to let me know when we close above this bearish candle, because it could be a future bullish order block when it decides to become expansive. Not sure if that's even a real word, but yeah. So moving to the currencies, we have the dollar index today. We have CPI, and again you can see how lackluster it is. It looks like nothing really happened. It looks like if you had a stop loss set on the 4-hour perspective or the daily perspective or even a 1-hour chart, your stop loss would have been respected. I'm used to CPI moving one directional without any respect of anybody's stop loss. So seeing this being all that CPI has done is kind of surprising, especially considering that this is NFP. You know, usually CPI is much more destructive than NFP's movement, even yeah. So I don't know, this is the first time I'm seeing NFP not manipulate, and then this is the first time I'm seeing CPI manipulate. Like, NFP usually goes two ways. So if we're bullish, it first goes and runs sell side, then finally runs up, right? And then CPI is the one that when it comes out, we just run directly to the direction that we want instead of meandering around. So seeing the roles reversed like this is interesting, something that goes that will go in my journal. So the dollar index, seeing how we have done nothing, I'm looking to see if we can just frame a TGIF setup. So tomorrow being Friday and we have PPI, there's still a possibility. I don't know if this is going to happen, right? But I'm going to watch to see. There's still a possibility that we might take this buy side liquidity. We are in fact creating a daily BC, a small inefficiency here, but it's right there, right? So we could trade into this, then run up, or we could run buy side, then trade back into this. So I will be watching to see which one is tapped into first. I would prefer the buy side to be tapped first, then I can take this back down to the inefficiency. But either way, we have objectives, so you just wait and see which one is tapped into first. The second thing that I'm observing is keep in mind that higher time frames PDRA are still above all PDRAs, you know, and when we go to the monthly chart, we shouldn't forget that we are still inside of this monthly inefficiency, and we are just about to conclude Q2 of the month, right? So we could still see a rejection going into next week. So keep that in mind, that at any point we could have the high of the month, literally high of the month being created. So looking for more buys for me right now is a bit of a dangerous game to be playing. I'd rather look to fill any of these inefficiencies than to be looking for more buying opportunities, which is why I was saying that I would have preferred buy side was taken. Then I can look for selling opportunities back into this daily gap, and then of course to these other ones below. Yeah, when we look at pairs like USDJPY, not the best pair to trade, by the way, because I'm bullish on the yen crosses, and pairing this with the dollar as a major is a bit of a funny situation. But let's see. So looking at this high was created at 8 o'clock, and this high was created at 1 p.m. or 13 o'clock. So we got a liquidity sweep there. The one thing I found interesting is when you switch over to USDJPY, you would notice that that same high was not able to be swept. So this is 8 o'clock and that's 1 p.m. So we already have an SMT divergence that's telling me that possibly, more than likely, USDJPY will run these lows. I don't know if it's gonna happen during Asia or during New York tomorrow, but more than likely these lows are suspect. So it's very short target, I guess, not really anything major. The same goes with dollar. I'm looking at these lows. Now that we've taken the highs, I would like to see if we get a typical 2022 market structure shift and a possible trade down to this low, this sell side liquidity. But of course, keep in mind that somewhere here we will have the daily gap. I think between this low and this high, we'll have that tiny daily gap to watch out for a possible reaction to the upside again. So yeah, that's all I have now. Dollar not clear, indices a bit clearer, finally giving direction and momentum. I will have something solid after PPI for next week on the currency pairs. So I didn't really touch currencies too much this week, but indices have finally cleared up, and I will be monitoring it from tomorrow. As I've already said, I'm favoring NASDAQ right now because we still have buy side targets, so I'm taking it as the sixth sister in a way, and I like the SMT being the stronger one right now. So yeah, something to watch for Asia and of course for tomorrow. That's all I have for now. Stay safe, good luck, and good trading.